Hello, everybody, and welcome to our podcast, Fresh Off the Set. My name is David Osmond.
And I'm Sarah Jenkins.
We have an awesome podcast today. A great friend, an influencer, actually, that came in. Coolest name ever, Indy
really
Blue.
is.
I mean, what a cool name like that.
I love it.
She has a lot more cool things to her, not just the name. She's done incredible things in her life, not just as an influencer and really a trendsetter, but she has a clothing line company that my kids love. It's called Lonely Ghost.
Okay.
And you may have seen these around town or all over the place, but it's the hoodies. It's very kind of a trademark brand for her. And it has, branding on it. In the back, it says like, text me when you get home, or different
so
ways to say
cute.
I love you. And it's really cool
I love
branding.
it. Yeah, I had seen these hoodies and I feel like I was familiar with it, but I didn't put the name to the brand. And yeah, I mean, she's super popular. You mentioned your kids love some of her apparel. And the name is great. It just sticks in your mind.
Yeah.
So, and I think that this upcoming podcast, Carrie had the chance to chat with her about some exciting things going on, right?
Yeah, that's right. And definitely as an influencer, she makes her mark. And that trendsetter, she is a really cool powerhouse that's local. But she does on the show, you'll see, and as you listen, she's got some surprises, things we learned about her we didn't realize. So you're in store for a great treat. Enjoy this podcast, Fresh Off the Set. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.
I am so excited for our guest on the podcast today. You know her, you love her, and all of her style, fashion, her brand. Indy Blue, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Oh my goodness, we're so happy to have you here. Okay, let's just start here. Could you take us back to the beginning and when you first started posting on social media, and when did you start gaining that following?
So I am just a total child of the internet. My blog was my first venture.
Kind of when blogs were a thing, huh?
Yeah, you remember, like, especially in Utah, it was Blogspot.
Oh, yeah.
Before Facebook, before anything. Like, it was, that's what girls did around here. And I saw older girls doing that, and I wanted to join in. So I had a blog when I was in, like, 5th grade.
Amazing.
Just started young. I think I have always just used social media to express myself. It's come so naturally to me, just through writing, through blogging, traveling and making videos, through fashion and creating products. I've always had this desire to share myself, share these parts of me that feel, I guess, maybe like I'm alone in them. And through that sharing, I attracted this community of like-minded souls. And in my vulnerability, I have been able to reach people who also feel the same things as me and feel like they're alone and feel like they're hiding things and they're dealing with all this stuff on their own. And so it's been really beautiful to, I guess I was kind of looking for a place to belong, and I found that through these social online connections. And in that sense of looking for a place to belong, I kind of created one for all of these other people like me. So it was really cool.
That's really cool. So you feel like you started gaining that following with the blog, and then eventually, what was the next step? Was it Facebook?
Yeah, no, I did it all.
Okay.
I did it all.
Okay.
I think really when I took off was when YouTube kind of blew up. Right after high school, I started traveling. And instead of going to college, I just wanted to take a gap year, take a few years off, and I started traveling and filming my travels and posting them. And that's kind of when I gained some momentum and got like a strong following behind me.
People wanted to see your travels.
Yeah.
Like an inside look behind the scenes.
Yeah, totally.
Very cool. Okay, how have you seen social media change since you started and when you were gaining a following? How have you seen it change?
Oh, it's changed so much. I feel like it goes through ebbs and flows where in 3 years ago, pandemic time, right? I feel like there was a shift back to casual content. We wanted that. And I'm kind of ready for a shift back to more creative, artistic content that we saw 2018, 2019. I also think that in general, maybe people are becoming more aware of privacy And I think maybe that's what's changed more is I don't think people overshare as much. I think a lot of people, especially people like me who grew up on the internet essentially, now we're having kids. And I mean, now I have a kid and I'm like, do I want to share him with the world? Do I want to give the world access to this gentle little soul?
It's tricky.
Yeah. And so I would say that even myself, who kind of built a following on oversharing and giving myself, I'm now learning like what is okay to keep for myself. And I think that's really interesting is people, I definitely can see a lot of my friends, a lot of my peers that are just making a shift to just caring a lot more about their real life and not just their Instagram life.
I like that. Making some boundaries maybe
Yeah.
of what you're going to share and what you're not going to share, especially with kids, protecting our kids, right? Do you like the changes or do you miss how social media used to be?
I definitely miss it. I miss just the nostalgia of early Instagram in general. Like,
Yeah.
like the filters even. I miss just how no one cared and it was so fun. And just, as I was saying before, such a way to express yourself. And I don't necessarily think that's changed. I think people are a lot more wary to put themselves out there because it's such a brutal place. But I miss that freedom that I used to feel to just post whatever I want right from the depths of my soul without thinking of how it's going to get twisted or what every person's going to think of it. And I guess that's something I've been trying to get back to. It's just feeling more playful with it, I guess.
Yeah, because you have a lot of filters now. You have a lot of, perfection. Do you see a shift of people becoming a little bit more real and raw, but also still having boundaries and getting away from the filters and the, the perfection?
Yeah, I think you'll find like really successful influencers and creators in this space are ones who can master that balance of being vulnerable and real because that is what people want. And having boundaries and knowing when to protect yourself. It's something that I am still learning because, like I said, that's kind of how I built my brand. And so I'm trying to strike this balance of giving people my real life, but also keeping things for myself. And I don't know, I think at the end of the day, people do want realness and rawness.
It's what we connect to, right?
Yeah, it's like I was saying, that's when I was sharing my inner thoughts, it was shocking to see how many people are telling me that they have panic attacks too, they're anxious too, this, and this, and it helps you feel less alone. Exactly. It just helps breed connection.
It's so true. Yeah, you feel less alone because it does feel like you're alone when you're dealing with these things. You're not talking about it because not a lot of people do talk about it. So when everybody's like, hey, that's me too, it brings everyone together. You've done such a good job with that. Have you always wanted to be an influencer or did that come about later on? I know you said you were kind of on the internet doing blogs in 5th grade, but talk about that.
I don't know if it's something with my age group and all the shows on Disney Channel having to center around fame.
Yeah.
But that was all I wanted as a kid was to be famous, and I didn't care what. I'd be on The Bachelor if I couldn't write a best record-winning album. So influencing is funny because in a way it seems like I manifested it. Kind of always meant for me in that area. I've always been a trendsetter. I've always, like I said, just had this desire to share. And what's interesting is becoming an influencer, especially in Utah, where I don't know, it's just different here. Like people come up to me at the grocery store here and not anywhere else. Is what I'm trying to say. And it's funny because I actually don't. Not that I don't enjoy people coming up to me, but the attention does make me uncomfortable. And it's just so funny because I've wanted to be famous my whole life, and I finally kind of achieved this very, very small level of fame. And I'm like, oh, just kidding. That's not for me. And so I love, being an influencer is such a special role. There's so many opportunities, so many privileges to reach so many people and do so many cool things. And I'm so thankful for that. But I'm also thankful that I didn't have to become Taylor Swift to realize that I didn't really want that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think being an influencer was like the perfect taste for me to just maybe see that that's not everything.
Sure, that's not everything. Where you still might be able to go out and about here in Utah and maybe not be recognized, but most of the time you are. Okay, so that's my next question. So if you are out in the wild and someone sees you at a grocery store, does it depend on the situation? Do you prefer somebody just to kind of wave and move on or come up to you? Or how do you want people to handle it if they do see you?
Oh man, no, I love when people come and talk to me. I think it just makes my day every time. The worst is when people will message me after. And I actually appreciate it because I think they're just trying to be respectful, but I'll get a message like, so what'd you get at Costco?
Oh, gosh.
Like, you know what I mean? And then I freak out because I'm like, what was I doing? People were watching me. It's just an interesting thing.
Interesting phenomenon.
Yeah.
Of the day and age of an influencer. Let's talk a little bit about your brand, Lonely Ghost.
Okay.
How did that come about?
So that was kind of a progression of just building this following through my blog, through my videos. And I think people just felt like they knew me based off what I was sharing and how open and vulnerable I have just always been. And it was like I had this ready-made audience. And so I wanted to create something, and I love fashion, so I really wanted to do a clothing brand, but I wanted it to be very interactive and just on theme with our brand, which is connecting lonely people, connecting all of these like-minded people who don't realize that there's hundreds of girls just like them. And that's kind of how we came up with our first shirt, which was just a white t-shirt that said, I love you, say it back. And
I have one of your hoodies. I have to
You
say I love
do?
it. Yep, it's one of my
Oh,
favorites.
thank you so much.
It's very, very comfortable, just if
Yeah.
anyone's wondering. It's so comfortable.
Has anyone ever told you they loved you when you
Oh,
were wearing
yes.
it?
Yeah, it's funny because like my aunt, who I don't think is familiar with the brand, I was wearing it and she's like, oh my goodness, it's so cute. And she just looked at me and she went, I love you.
Oh, grandmas love it.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just so, I think that first shirt really just showed us what we had, like, because it makes people so happy. I just have hundreds of DMs of people with similar experiences to that, and it just, I'll wear it all the time, and someone random will yell that they love me, and I'm like, what? And then I look
You're
down,
like, oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, that is awesome.
It's a good saying. You
Yeah.
picked a good one.
Thank you.
You picked a really good one. So it started with t-shirts. Where has it moved since then?
What's really cool about our brand, and I think it's a testament to our followers and our amazing community, but we've had the support from them. They've seen us since day one. Our 4-year anniversary is actually on Thursday, so it's been 4 years. And since day one, these people have been supporting us, and all of our wins are their wins, and they're watching us grow. They're growing with us. And so we have this extremely loyal group of people that want us to win and want us to succeed. And I feel like I'm trailing off the question.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I think that what we were kind of talking about is where it's going from
where
the
it's going.
t-shirts. Yeah, and I think that you have built such a good following because everyone feels like part of it and part of the team and like they're part of Lonely Ghost.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying is because we have this support, we're in this position where we can kind of go wherever we want to go. And my inspiration kind of comes from my own life, whatever I'm going through. And I take that to Lonely Ghost. Right after I had a baby, we did a line of baby clothes, and I moved into a home last year and we did a home collection. So I think there's so many avenues we could go down. There's so many ideas we can follow, and we have so many, and we have the support of people that are just excited to see where we want to go. So we have so many exciting things planned. I think what we're really passionate about is like bringing this online community into real life.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of took off during the pandemic when everyone was searching for these connections because they were lonely at home. So bringing those online connections in real life is kind of our next goal.
Nice goal. Do you design everything yourself, or do you have a team? How does that work?
We do have a team. We have incredible designers. For the first few years, it was just Bronson and I, who's my business partner. And yeah, we could not afford a designer. So we would just, and he's an incredible graphic designer, I would just bounce ideas off of him and he would bring them to life. That's kind of how we did it for a while.
And learn as you go,
Yeah.
I imagine. And you now have a brick and mortar store open in Provo. Could you tell us a little bit about opening up like your first shop and what
Yeah.
that was like?
Yeah, so like I was saying, that was our first big real life just milestone of bringing this online connection into the 3D world. And it was important for us to have a store, a place for that, like all these people could actually meet and connect. And we care very much about experience. That's our main thing. And we went with a grocery store theme. So the store is set up like I like always get confused, ghostery store?
Okay.
Grocery
That's
store.
cool.
And it's great. Like again with the grandmas, we get grandmas every day coming to look for groceries, thinking it's a grocery
It's
store.
amazing.
And
I love it.
And then they leave with a text me when you get home hoodie, and their granddaughters are over the moon.
Grandma, you're so cool.
Yeah. So opening that store was huge for us, and it's done amazing. Shockingly, people from all over the country will fly in to drive to Provo, Utah to see this little store.
Well, obviously people are seeking connection. That's what
Yeah.
you're really good at. So
Yeah.
it's that connection. If they can see that in real life and, be able to see the product and be there, that's, I'm sure that's why it's done really well. And what
Yeah.
are your future plans? If you can share anything with Lonely Ghost, any exciting announcements, anything that you can talk about?
So many exciting collections and collaborations that are top secret. So I can't really get into those, but those are coming up. We are looking for spaces up here, actually in Salt Lake, to look for to do a store.
Great.
So that would be really exciting. And I'm writing a kids book,
Amazing.
a little ghost that's has no friends because everyone's scared of him.
Oh, that's so cute.
Like I said, honestly, it's random. A lot of it doesn't make sense, but it's fun, and it's a really beautiful spot to be in as a creator, as an artist, because I can make kids books, and I can make bath towels, and I can do pool floaties, and the possibilities are just kind of endless.
The world is your
Yeah.
oyster. That's really cool. We can't wait to see your book. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, and you're a mom.
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit and what important lesson you've learned since becoming a mom? I know there's a lot. I have a
Yeah.
6-year-old, so it's,
Do you have a 6-year-old?
Uh-huh.
A boy or a girl?
A girl.
A girl.
Yeah.
I have a son, a 3-year-old.
Oh.
His name is 7, and he is just the light of my life. And he just turned 3, and so I'm sure you know, it's like sentences just out of the blue, and he's so sensitive, and I'm just starting to like notice little things about him and his personality, and I think motherhood just expands you, right? And I don't know what I expected. I knew it would be hard in so many ways, but one of the hardest parts is just how you have to really look at yourself. And being a mother, you have to be so emotionally regulated. And I think I was 22 when my son was born. I was a baby myself, and so I think such a beautiful part of motherhood, and just by far the most important thing I've learned is just how to regulate my own emotions and how to deal with them, process them, so I'm not taking them out on my kid or my husband. And I think just working so closely with my son and seeing his emotions, it's helped me understand myself on an entirely different level.
That's a really good way to put it. Yeah, it's almost a mirror. I feel
Totally
like
a mirror,
sometimes,
yeah.
and you really become aware of your own emotions and your own downfalls and your own, because parenting is super hard. It's
Yeah.
really hard. I remember when I first became a mom, it was like I felt I had this whole extra chamber in my heart that opened up that I didn't realize I had, and it just filled this area that
Yes.
you don't know until you know
Yeah.
when you become a mom.
Exactly.
So thank you for sharing that. That's really beautiful. Well, we are so glad to have you on the podcast, Indy, and it's just been so fun chatting with you.
Thank you for having me.
You're killing it out there, and we can't wait to see your future plans. And let us know where we can follow you, and maybe where your shop is in Provo if you're local here in Utah. So maybe online, and then also if you're local.
Yeah, so online is www.lonelyghost.co. And on Instagram, we're just at Lonely Ghost. Mine is Indy Blue _. And if you are local, we're at the Riverwoods down in Provo. Come check us out.
Go shop
Yeah.
at the store. So much fun. Okay, and we like to wrap these up with what's called Fresh Five. I'm just going to give you 5 quick questions off the top of your head. Are you ready, Indy?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. First thing, what are you most excited by in life right now?
I'm writing a book, not just a kid's book, but a big girl book as well.
Okay, look at that.
I've been writing like crazy, and it's exciting. Yeah.
That definitely is exciting. Okay, cool. If you could invite anyone over for dinner, anybody, who would it be, and what are you making?
Dolly Parton.
Okay.
She's coming over, and we're gonna do some Southern food, mashed potatoes, gravy, and then I'm gonna make her sing to me.
Can we
on
get
the
an
guitar.
invite here at Fresh Living?
Yeah.
Can
Yeah,
we be
you
there?
guys are
Good.
in.
Mackenzie, you heard this. Okay, we're there. Best fashion trend of all time. Is there one that you can think of that you're like,
That
this
never
is it?
goes out of style.
Yeah.
Maybe like a good leather jacket. I feel like that's
good. And
so
we're seeing a lot of
timeless.
leather this year,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
yeah.
leather. That's good. That is timeless. Yeah. Do you have any pets?
Yeah, I have a dog named Zero.
Oh,
We're really into the number theme.
That's so cute. Dog named Zero. And last one, best gift you've ever received.
Oh man, that is a good one.
It's a thinker, huh?
I'm the gift giver. I love giving gifts, so I'm like,
How about best gift you've given?
I kind of balled out on Christmas last year and got my husband a sauna.
Well, that's fun.
So yeah, I won Christmas for the next 10
Yes,
years.
you did. Yes, you did.
But it was kind of a present for me too. Those are always like the best kind to give.
Where you can kind of use it too.
Yeah, of course.
That's a really good one. Oh yeah, yes, that's you get the award for best gift. That's awesome. Well, Indy, it's been so much fun chatting with you. Thank you so much for joining us today
Thank you.
on our podcast, and we hope to talk to you next, maybe when the book comes out or something.
Yes,
We'll have
of
you back
course.
on. Thanks so much, Indy, and thank you for listening to another episode of Fresh Off the Set. Please rate, review, and subscribe, and we will see you next week. Congrats, you made it to the end. If you want to continue to